It was August of 1997. I had just finished 7th grade at Greenwood Middle School, and I was about to begin 8th grade at Chatagnier High. And I was standing in our front yard, and I was waiting for the bus to come and pick me up on the first day of school. And at that time, I had one of the most severe anxiety attacks that I had ever experienced in my life. You see, I lived right on the border between Chatagnier High and Evergreen. Savannah Road was the border. I lived on the Chatagnier High side. And for the last 7-8 years, I had a certain group of friends. I had all these different people that I loved and that loved me, and they were all going to the other school. They were all going to Evergreen. And I was faced with the possibility of having to start over, having to make new friends again, having to go to a new school, and my 8th grade mind at the time couldn't handle that. And so I just started bawling, crying in the middle of the yard. My mother came out to try to console me and to try to reassure me that this was going to be okay, but I was unconsolable at that time. My dad was offshore, so she had to actually call my next door neighbor over to console me, because he had a son that was going to school as well. And he's like, "It's going to be okay. You've got certain friends. You're going to be fine." And I was like begging my mother, "Please don't let me go to school today. Please don't let me go to school today." She made me go to school anyway. Anxiety is something that I think we deal with on a daily basis. And I think when we have readings like the readings that we just heard in our gospel today, readings that prophesy the end times, that prophesy the second coming of Christ, little anxiety builds up in our hearts. Why? Because our culture is fixated on when is Jesus coming back, right? Mayan calendar, this prophecy, that prophecy, this person saying it's going to happen this day or that day. The prophecies of Notre Dame, is this the last pope? All those things kind of build anxiety into our hearts. Why? Because we're concerned about when is Jesus going to come back? When is Jesus going to come back? He's going to come back today, he's going to come back tomorrow. Why are we concerned? Well, I don't know about you, but when I was a little kid, my mother would make me clean my room. And she'd set me in my room, and then she'd close the door, which was a bad move. Because whenever she would close the door, what would happen? I wouldn't clean my room. But when I started to hear the footsteps coming down the hall, that's when I got busy, right? That's when I got busy. We're anxious about the end times, and we want to know the exact time when Jesus is coming, because honestly, we haven't had a true conversion yet. Because honestly, we're still on that road to true conversion. We doubt whether we are the elect yet, as our gospel says today. And it'd be better for us, it'd be more convenient for us to know the time. It'd be more convenient for us to say, well, I know the time when he's coming, so, two days before that, I can clean my act up, right? I can go to confession, I can start living cleanly, as they say. That's always going to bring us anxiety and fear, because we won't know the time. The gospel says it very clearly. We will not know the time. The angels don't know the time. The Son doesn't know the time. Only the Father knows the time. So what can we do instead? Instead of focusing on trying to figure out when the time is going to be, why not just focus on being the elect now? Why not just focus on living clean now? Why not focus on having that conversion now? So that all that fear, all that anxiety, it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to be there, because we know that we're part of the elect at that time. If we're living clean, if we're living by the statutes of what Christ has taught us to live by. But if we try to do it the opposite way, if we try to do it a distorted way, it will always lead to fear and anxiety. It will always lead there, because that's all it can lead to. Because a fear of the future is a fear of something that we can't know. And so, my brothers and sisters, as we come to the table of the Lord, let us have that true conversion. Let us try to continue to live the road of the elect, so that he can gather us all up in the second coming into the kingdom of heaven.